My disability occurred when I was 8 years old. I had polio before it was even fashionable, but I was very fortunate that after 3 weeks, when the quarantine period ended, the residuals affected my lower body only. And at that time, and this is just after the Second World War, they didn't know what rehabilitation really was. And the idea, the prognosis was that you would live life in an institution. And fortunately, I had a father who didn't believe that and said, no, we'll take him home and he will function in life just the way his brothers and sisters do. So that's what I did, and I didn't know any better. And the thing is, if you want to do something, you have to do it. You can't always rely on somebody else. So I did find, when I was 19, I went to my first wheelchair basketball game and saw these guys flying around. I said, that looks like fun. So I talked to the coach that day, and he said, why don't you come down to our practice and we'll get you a wheelchair and see what you can do. And that was my first introduction. Well, the wheelchairs at the time were heavy steel, 50-pound, standard kind of wheelchairs. And you just knew that you could do something better if the darn thing wasn't such an anchor. So moving on through my multiple manufacturers representing different people, I still had the thought in my mind that somehow somebody's going to be able to do individualized wheelchairs. But it took an extra production effort. So Jim and David and I got to talking, and David offered a job, if I wanted it, to come aboard the company. And he said, we can make and we will make individualized wheelchairs. We started with the cross sport, and that was pretty individualized. And we said, we got to take it further. And so we came upon the term TiFIT. Well, we're the only ones that truly make a custom fit wheelchair, made to measure. Everything about your body is considered in the chair. And guess what? The chair works better if it fits better. That's the whole point. It's not about nuts and bolts and tubes. It's about the person and being able to function in today's world. If I go into a restaurant, people will sometimes ask me if I'm going to transfer into the seat at the table. I say, no, I'll just use my seat. It's comfortable enough that I can do that. I used to have to get out of the chair to sit in another seat just to get a break. I don't do that anymore, and that's part of a custom chair. We take into consideration the function, but we take into consideration all the other features of a person. One is comfort. We're faced with funding challenges sometimes, but you know what? I'd pay anything for my mobility. And I think most people would too. If you lose it and there's a way to get it back, even if it's with wheels, but it's got to be the right chair. It's got to be a TiFIT chair.